Okay, so thanks for those of you who are showing up today. For those who don't know me, I'm Philippe Lazzaroni. I am the president of Direct Impact Solutions. That was founded 20 years ago, actually. We are a team of 31 employees, including 18 certified developers. We operate from 4 different branch offices, 3 of them in Canada, in Toronto, Montreal, and our head office is located in Laval, which is in the suburb area of Montreal. And we also have a 4th office in France. We are also a platinum member of the FileMaker Business Alliance, as well as an FBA reseller and FBA trainer. I was proudly named Evangelist of the Year in 2012 at the FileMaker Excellence Awards ceremony. That was mainly because of my involvement in the FileMaker community in Montreal, being the president of the user group there. I am also a regular speaker at the FM conference in France. I've been speaking there for the last 7 years. And it's my 3rd time speaking here at DEF CON, so I'm very happy to be with you today. I'll try to deliver another compelling session for you guys. On a more personal note, I'm a huge baseball fan with a burning desire to bring back the Expos in Montreal. I was at a ball game last Sunday and I was wearing my Expos cap. And speaking of Montreal, this is my main topic for today. I'm going to share with you this customer story that we have for the City of Montreal, more specifically for the Economic Development Department there. I'm going to give you a brief introduction of what was the customer need and also the initial goals, the challenges, as well as the benefits of the solution. It's a project management solution that was built for them as part of a team effort with many parties involved. Okay, so the solution was built, as I said, for the City of Montreal's Economic Development Department. It reports directly to the mayor, so it has a vital role in terms of the economic growth of the city. And before I introduce you to the solution itself and what we did there, I thought it would be interesting for me to share with you some economic facts about this great city that we live in Montreal. First of all, the people. Montreal is a French-speaking city with 60% of the population who speaks French at home, which is my case. And that makes it the 2nd largest French-speaking city in the world. And also with 4 million population, it's the 2nd largest city in Canada as well. And it ranks 5th in North America. So it's a big city with a lot of things going on there. And as far as the economy is concerned, Montreal hosted over the years numerous international events, like the Universal Exposition, as well as the Summer Olympic Games. And we also have annual events like the Montreal Jazz Festival, the Just for Laugh Festival, and also the Grand Prix of Formula One. So all those events that are taking place in Montreal are there to support the economic development of the city. And just to give you an idea, the gross domestic product of the agglomeration of Montreal amounts to $95 billion per year. So there's a lot going on there. And they absolutely needed a solution to manage all the projects that they have for the department. So the project involved many parties, as I said, and that was the main challenge of this project. But it was initially introduced by an in-house developer there, this lady, Sylvie Champeau. She's a citizen developer, as we call them, and she had past experience with FileMaker. She's now a senior director in the department, and she really wanted to bring in a new solution to get rid of all the spreadsheets that were used in the past. They were relying on several spreadsheets. It's the typical situation where a document spreadsheet were frequently lost, and proved to be really inefficient. So at first, she decided to hire an independent FileMaker developer, another lady. This time, she's also named Sylvie, but this time is Sylvie Dubé, so 2 Sylvies involved. Sylvie is a FileMaker developer. So the first Sylvie could really rely on someone with experience to build this project. So they decided to build a first prototype together. But they realized that this project was going to be too big for them, for their skill level, and too ambitious. So they decided to contact us at Direct Impact and to get us involved in the project. And the first thing we did is we brought in some experience. Such a big project required experience, and we decided to onboard this guy, Nicholas Hunter. Does anyone know Nicholas? Have you ever met him? Yeah, yeah, I figured. This guy worked for FileMaker for 7 years, and he's well known to be the creator of FileMaker's own starter solutions that come with the product. So he has a lot of experience as a UI UX designer, and he's now a freelancer developer, and he was available at that time. So we decided to onboard him on that project for his experience. And the guy is really talented, as you'll see in the demonstration that I will show you in a minute. So what led them to choose FileMaker for that project, apart the fact that the lady in-house already knew FileMaker? Well, there were many reasons, of course. As I said, this lady, Sylvie Champeau, she had a positive experience in the past with FileMaker, and she could rely on that other Sylvie who knew FileMaker. That's really her that make that project happen. I like to call her my superhero, because she really is the one that really opens the doors and knew pull the right levers to make this project happen from inside the organization there at the City of Montreal. And there was also a specific conjuncture there where the IT department budget was very limited, and they have an internal team of developers, but they were not inclined to take a new project like this, especially not on FileMaker, which is not an approved platform for the city department. So apart from them, from the fact that she knew FileMaker, there's also the fact that the platform in itself, FileMaker has a reputation. It's appealing because of the autonomy that they could get out of it. They could rely on a partner like Direct Impact with a proven track record of satisfied customer and a successful project. A partner like us capable of providing hosting, licensing, training, as well as consulting. So that really makes the client comfortable and by choosing this platform that we all love, which is FileMaker. And also the flexibility of FileMaker as a proven rapid application tool, and its affordability. All of this influenced their decision to choose FileMaker. They could really envision a great return on investment with FileMaker compared to the traditional programming languages that normally the city would use to build their internal tools. The initial goal for the city was to create an automated dashboard for the strategic management that would serve as a decision support system for the directors, for the department directors. They needed a centralized database where they could all fill in the information to share the information more efficiently than they were doing with the Excel files. This involved eliminating all the spreadsheets and replacing them with a full-fledged project management solution that would be built, custom-built to their needs. And also at the same time, they needed to integrate proper project management processes and methods, because they were all using ad hoc processes, and they took this opportunity to implement new processes, formalized for everyone. And they knew at that point that using a traditional programming language would probably take too long to build and would be too costly for them. They wanted to avoid the pitfalls of starting a project and not being able to deliver it because it's too long and too expensive. Their goal was to prove that it was possible to build a cost-effective solution with FileMaker in order to convince eventually other departments to adopt FileMaker as a platform. Obviously, our main challenge was to convince the IT guys there that FileMaker is a legitimate platform for that kind of a project. As you can imagine, they were very reluctant at first. They have very rigid rules in terms of which technologies are supported and accepted to be deployed on the city server. So we really had to demonstrate FileMaker capabilities and how it could be easily integrated into the current city server, which is a Microsoft architecture. So it was more than just a technology problem. It's also the fact that they lacked the skills internally to handle and manage a FileMaker solution. So the fact that we were involved as a partner, as a reliable and well-known partner, this really was a major factor for them in their decision, because they knew that they could rely on us to compensate for their lack of skills, knowing the FileMaker platform. The other thing that we did in order to convince them to use FileMaker was to bring in our BAM from FileMaker. to our business account manager who was working from California. He flew in from California to Montreal and helped us during the sales process. The goal of doing that was to show the customer that they were going to be fully supported, not only by us, the partner, on a technical perspective, but also by the vendor that was serious enough to fly in from California and support us. This is something we don't always think of doing, but I encourage you, if you have a situation where you think you need help, they have a great team, a sales team, and this is really convincing and comforting for the customer, knowing that they are going to be supported. The other main challenge that we were facing had more to do with the employees and their resistance to change. As you can imagine, they've worked for so long with those spreadsheets, and now we introduce a new system with new processes, so that the change of culture, the way of doing things, the way to plan, to realize, to control, that was the biggest challenge for them, to change the way of working. So the management there, they had to be very supportive of the solution and also very proactive towards the users. So our superhero, Sylvie, she really came into play. So she really was an asset to the project. That's the leader, she's the one who make it happen. And she knew that she couldn't do it by her own, and she didn't shy away from getting surrounded by competent people and other partners like us at Direct Impact, but also the other Sylvie. So it was the concerted effort of all parties that made this project possible by working all together. Now, the solution. I hope it's going to be okay on the screen. So it's a back office custom app that was built for them that combines both a desktop and a mobile interface. It displays a beautiful modern user interface and provides a great user experience. As of today, they have 45 users on board, and they're using the new FileMaker license for team licensing model, which allows them to use either their tablets or their laptops with the same license. Everyone uses the system, from secretaries to the management directors. The solution is entirely hosted in the cloud by Direct Impact. It's on a secure, dedicated virtual server. It runs a Windows operating system to comply with the city's standards. And the fact that we were able to host the solution externally was a key factor in their decision as well, because not having anyone internally capable of managing and deploying a server was very, they were feeling insecure about that, so they can now, by relying on us, they could have confidence that we would take care of it. And finally, we were able to provide all the users with training. So they got all their users into a training room. We trained them with basic understanding of how to use FileMaker. And I also personally taught Sylvie Champeau an advanced class so she can be comfortable enough with the system so she can manage it by herself in the future. So they don't always need to rely on us. Okay, let's show you this solution. As of today, there's 7 modules. The system is going to evolve over the years, but as of today, there is a contact, organizations, projects, meetings, events, documents, and communication. Okay, so it's a video that is going to show you some fake data, but it's just going to give you a sneak peek of what the solution does. So this is the technical part of the presentation where, okay, so when the user log into the system, they land on this beautiful, colorful dashboard that gives them a summary of everything that is going on in the city's department. They got some indicators, the number of ongoing projects, some pie charts, showing some metrics, the project risk level, and stuff like that. So this is very, very user-friendly for them. They get in and they instantly see what's going on in their department. And the users, they also have access to a dashboard there where they get the listing of all their active projects. So for this demonstration, I only have one. So they select the project they want to work on during the day. The way the system was built is that every time they have a new project, they create an initial sheet, they complete the information, and they have to get the approval from the directors. And once the project is approved, the initial sheet is locked, and the project is duplicated in a follow-up sheet where all the users involved in the project can then modify, update the information over the course of the project without altering the initial information that was approved. That allows them to compare the results over the course of the project. The system makes use of the master detail view technique that is very popular, as you will see in the demonstration, if it's not stuck. Okay, so you see there are several panes, a very nice, good-looking transition, and also the master view the technique is implemented in multiple levels. So those are nested master view information. There were a lot of information that needed to be put in the same screen, so we needed to be very creative in how we would present the information so it's usable. This, for example, is a convenient and very nice trick that Nicholas implemented. This is what we call a vertical accordion. So it kind of simulates a tab panel, but instead of it being horizontal, it's vertical. It allows for larger titles, for example. So that's it's a very cool trick. Then the project module has several other panes that are very useful. Obviously, the target customers and stuff like that. But the most important would probably be the deliverables. So they can specify for each project multiple deliverables, and for each deliverables, they can add multiple tasks. And each task has a color coding here showing the level of priority, and also a progress bar indicator showing the level of progress of each task. They can update tasks as they are working. They can change the level of priority. They can also update the progress level bar. And they can also assign multiple resources. So a single task can be assigned to multiple people at the same time with a convenient contact selector like that. And then when they're done, they go back to the project, and the screen is updated automatically, obviously. So you see the color for the task have been updated. And also, they can get the list of all the resources involved, not only in a specific task, but in all tasks altogether in the same view. They have other panes with budget monitoring where they can enter all the expenses as well as the commitments in terms of money. There's a lot of things going on there. Also, communication pane, risk analysis, very important. In every project, they can list all the risks that they identify and also put in some measures that they're going to take to mitigate the risks. They also have goals, targets, and objectives. For each goal, they can add indicators that are going to be the measures for success. They also can tie in documents. Obviously, they still use some Excel documents, but not as the main tool, but as side operations. And finally, they have the results section where they can enter the summary of what were their experience, what did they learn, and also a recommendation for a similar project in the future. So they're creating a knowledge base at the same time as they are managing their project, which is going to be very useful on the long term. Then they can navigate through the system. Obviously, they can go and visit the contact record for the specific project manager. You see that a specific contact can work for multiple organizations. And you can see all the active projects, all the activity that a specific person is involved in. They can move them and can go load the company's record. So that organization also can have multiple contacts working for it. In their field, it's very important because they work with so many different organizations and so many different people. So you see all the contacts, and you can move back and forth from between each module using a nice and convenient user interface that provides feedback and nice sliding panels like that. There is a meetings module that is embedded in the solution. So they manage all their meetings. They can add all the participants that are invited by the system, directly from the system. They have the same contact list to select the participants. They can define all the topics that are going to be discussed during the meeting. And they can also follow-ups on the different elements and items that were discussed and all the actions that needs to be taken after a specific meeting. And they can also, as they could for a project, link external documents. And there is, last but not the least, an event planner as well. So as a department doing economic activities, they have multiple events such as a press conference, for example. So they can select who is going to be involved in the organization. They can select all the actions that needs to be taken to organize the event. They can also manage sub-activities. So in an event that has several smaller activities, they can all handle them with the system. And they also manage all the invitations that are sent by the system. And there's the cool color coding here saying, letting you know which one have accepted the invitation, who have declined, and who are still waiting for an answer. So this is very convenient. Everything is managed directly in the database. There's no external tool you use. All is native. And they can obviously print the list of everyone who will be attending to this event. And as they could in the project and in the meetings, they can also tie in some documents. In this example here, those are more pictures than Excel or PDF files. Pictures of the event that are taken live, for example, using the iPads, and kept in that repository for future usage. But all the documents, whether they're inserted from the project, from the meetings, or from the events, they eventually all end up in a centralized document repository for better management and handling of all the containers, container field data. So as you can see, it's a very complete and rich application. Just to give you an idea, as of today, they handle 89 projects simultaneously with the system, which are involving more than 300 different stakeholders and managing hundreds of millions of dollars with that FileMaker single database. Obviously, a solution like that brings some great benefits. In the past, user lost track of some requests, not knowing the status or where the documents were. They didn't know if the suppliers they were dealing with had been paid or not. The papers would sometimes get lost. All of this has changed with the new solution. The approval process, which used to take many days, lots of paperwork, many printed documents, now benefits from a simplified process and automated alerts and digital signatures. The solution also comes with a new organization of the work that's being done, who does what, when, and how, with regards to the keeping track of budget and following up on deliverables and tasks. Above all this, it's the collective knowledge that is being built with this solution that is gathered in one central database. They really hope that this system will be spread to other services in the city's administration and become a reference for future in-house project management there, and eventually help other departments save cost and money. And that, of course, for us as a developer, it opens doors to new possibilities for us to offer our FileMaker services to the other services as well. To conclude, we certainly have learned some lessons along the way doing that project. I have to admit that this project is not the typical project that Direct Impact normally takes on. But we feel that the collaboration aspect of this project revealed some interesting things. We think that businesses and organizations should leverage their internal skill when it comes to build their own tool. They have some people in-house that are very knowledgeable of their field of work, and perhaps some of them are even knowledgeable in the FileMaker development. And we are here to help them achieve that, to save cost and to achieve their goal more efficiently. And at the same time that they need to trust their in-house people, they also need to trust the external partners that they can get involved in the project. The resources that are available to them, and don't hesitate to hire them. I think that the partnership between all the parties in that specific project, based on trust and goodwill, it's really by working together that the project happened. It's the kind of collaboration that requires great project management skill, though, because of all the people involved. And for us, that was really our superhero, Sylvie, because she was there and she was managing the project so efficiently. It was a success. But it doesn't matter in your situation if the project manager is someone in-house like she is, or if it's you, the developer. As long as someone takes the ownership of the project and do the project management with determination and leadership, it's going to work. In the end, it's all about managing the expectations, the user's expectation, but the customer expectations, and all the parties involved as well. It's executing the project one step at a time and to achieve the goals, actually. So that's about what I had to show you today. I'm going to be here to answering your questions if you have, so I invite you to go to the microphone if you want to learn more. I don't think I will have updates for this session. I already updated my slides yesterday, so they are already updated. Yeah, thanks. That's how I feel as well. Please go to the microphone just because it's being recorded.
How long to deploy the beta version?
Okay, so it was not a typical project, as I said, so it's hard to answer that question, but I would say that when they first did the prototype and then they got us involved, from the moment we got Nicholas on board and they were able to use the system, it took approximately 4 months, I would say. So that's a good question, because keeping the budget low and the goal achievable, they wanted the project to be done in less than a year. Because it's a city, they work with annual budget. If we were not able to deliver under a full year, then it becomes, you know, I don't know how to say that in English, but in French we say un panier de crabes. It means you open the box and there's a lot of crabs that are going to hit you because you don't want to go there. Okay.
Without giving away any secrets, how did you, from a high level, do the accordion slide, the horizontal up and down?
That's a really good question that I can't answer, but feel free to come and see me take my business card and I'll ask Nicholas to show it to you.
Hi, I might have missed this. At the beginning you talked about the resistance to change.
Yes, I did.
Is there still resistance to this product, or how did that work out?
There is still resistance to that product because it's been there just since a few months, and there are many people involved over there that's been working for years with the manual documents. So there's still resistance. It's a day-to-day challenge, but it's getting better. The more we go into time, the better it is.
Do you install the app's FileMaker client on all the computers there in the city?
Yeah, exactly. They have a FileMaker license for team, and we install a FileMaker Pro for user connection on each computer in the city.
And then does the IT department there manage the updates?
Yes, they manage the installation and the updates of the FileMaker Pro client only. But we manage the update on the server, and we handle the server, which is hosted externally in the cloud on our servers.
Running into issues where the city's firewalls block the updates to the actual client? And FileMaker doesn't give away that URL to...
Well, since the FileMaker Pro clients are installed internally, the firewall is not involved. It's done in the local area.
But to go from 16 to 16.01 to 16.02, the user clicks the button to update the app.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to answer that question because they're still on FileMaker 15, but I assume that they can update, that the users don't do it. Probably the IT department there does the update for the users. That's normally the practice in large organizations, public organizations like that.
Thank you, great session. I was wondering, I came in a few minutes late. Did you deal with the situation where IT has goals that are directly opposed to yours? Not just resistance to change, but the fact that they actually don't want the project to succeed.
Not in that situation. We were lucky enough that the IT department there, they wanted the project to succeed because they were overwhelmed by all the other tools they are building and the delays in the development of their other project. And they knew that the city needed that solution, and they said, what can we do to allow you guys to do it? So, well,
they were
have confidence in us, let us host the system externally. We had to prove that we were able to do it in a secure way to comply with their standards, but they did not oppose to it. They were reluctant at first because they didn't know what FileMaker was, and they feared that if we were not going to be there on the long term, that they would have to inherit the system and be stuck with it without knowing how to manage it. Yes. But we convinced them by the fact that we're a large company with 31 employees and 18 certified developers. We're there in business, we've been in business for 20 years. So that convinced them that they would not be stuck with the system. And also the fact that we're involved in the user group in Montreal, I was able to tell them how many other developers are there in the market in Montreal in the case that we're not in business anymore, that could take over. So that gave them some level of confidence as well.
Right. I mean, there are those moments when you realize that there is someone who really doesn't want the project to succeed, and
Yes.
it's a matter of finding a champion inside. It can be difficult. There are times that we've walked away from a project realizing it just wasn't going to work, and other times when you really have to either work on what someone is afraid of in terms of his own job. Because, I mean, part of the cultural problem I see is that we want a project to succeed, and sometimes an IT employee wants to just have a comfortable job. And those
Absolutely.
are not
And
the
we see
same
that
thing.
all the time. We haven't seen it in that specific project, but we see that, we've seen that with other customers. I have something to tell about that. We have another city for which we have worked with FileMaker that had a guy internally that was very reluctant that we succeed with FileMaker because probably he feared for his job, and also because he thought that FileMaker wasn't serious or stable enough. What we did is I went in with my laptop, and I was in front of all the directors there, including that guy, and I created an iPad solution on the fly, the same demonstration that FileMaker does in the Apple stores. So I did that in 15 minutes in front of them, taking some Excel file, converting them, creating a layout, a nice looking solution, showed it live on my iPad from the Wi-Fi network. They were all, and that guy was around the table. He was always saying, no, don't do that with FileMaker. But all the other directors saw what I did, and they say, why don't you want this project to be done with FileMaker? It's amazing. And then we got in.
checkmate.
So use
Good
your
work.
skills to convince.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I hope you have a great DEF CON and see you at the pool party.